Hi, good day everyone. Welcome to a Byte of Math CSEC edition. Today we are going to be learning some trigonometry. But before we do, allow me to introduce myself. I am Leslie Joseph. I am currently pursuing my BSc in nursing, and it's a pleasure to have you all today. All right. I am so glad that you took the time to invest in your future and awaken your inner genius today. I sincerely believe that each and every one of us have a genius sleeping inside of us, and we just need to have the right environment with the right person who can help us not just discover, but awaken and live in the true genius that we are. Right? So, today's class, we are going to learn Pythagoras theorem. We are going to learn trigonomic ratios, sine rule, cosine rule, and you're going to learn a little bit more about me. Now, what I'm going to do is that I am recording this class and we have so much to cover in such a short space of time. So I'm not actually going to be stopping to do any practice in this session. Of course, if you want to reach out and you want to hire me as your personal tutor, you can do so. You have my number. It's 1868 and I'm going to put that up for you. So it's 1868 4728049, and I am available on WhatsApp. Alright, so if you need more further help preparing for exams and you want to do more past paper practice, of course you can reach out to me. Right? It's for a small fee of $100 an hour. Right? After all, this is an investment into your future. This is an investment into your child's future. And you are going to see the benefits of it today. You're definitely going to see the benefits of it today. So let's get started. Pythagoras theorem. Now, Pythagoras theorem states that the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares on the other two sides. So let's break this down a little bit. Here we have a right angle triangle, alright? And we want to label the vertices. So we have the vertices is the point at which they meet, and it represents our angle. So we have A, B, and this vertex would be C. In our C vertex, we have our right angle, which is a side of 90 degrees. And this is always almost denoted by a square. These here are our other angles, right? Now, the hypotenuse is always the longest side of a right angle triangle, as you can see. And it's always directly opposite our right angle, right? So that's how you separate the hypotenuse. Now, in terms of understanding how Pythagoras theorem works, you wanna label. So A, which would be this angle here, this would be A in terms of the side, because this side is directly opposite to this angle. For B, which is this angle here, B would be this side, which is directly opposite to angle B. Alright? Now another thing you need to know, Pythagoras theorem can only be used to calculate the missing side or the unknown side of a right angle triangle. It cannot be used to calculate angles. It can only be used to calculate the distance or the length of one side of a triangle once you are given the other two sides. And it only works with right angle triangles. So it's a very specific use case. So now that we have our labels, we can come up with a formula, which is c squared, which is equal to our hypotenuse, alright, is equal to a squared plus b squared. Or you could write it as a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Because of the commutative property in maths, it's going to be the same either way. Let's look at an example. So we want to rewrite a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. First thing you want to do is label your triangle. We want to find for this side, or we want to know how we get to 5 centimeters on this side. We were given A equals to 3 centimeters and B is equal to 4 centimeters. But how did I get these sides as A and B? Because again, I labeled my vertices. So if you notice, this side is directly opposite to this side, and this side is directly opposite to this angle. So that's how I got. So A is equal to 3 centimeters, B is equal to 4 centimeters. C is my hypotenuse, it's unknown. All I'm going to do is substitute, right? Substitute these values into the equation. So 3 squared plus 4 squared is equal to C squared. And next I'm going to calculate the equation to solve for the missing side. So this 3 by 3 is 9, 4 by 4 is 16, I'm going to get 25. Now remember, we want to find the C, right? We want to find the C. This here is equal to C squared. It's not equal to C. So we have to find the square root of this answer to be able to get C, which would give us our 5 centimeters. Right? Alright, so what you can do is that at this point, you can pause the video and you can go back, you can read it through, and you can go back and you can listen to it again. So I'm going to go move ahead now. We have A squared. Another example, we have A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. This is our equation. This time, we are looking at finding a side that is not the hypotenuse. So we were given the hypotenuse. And how do I know which is my hypotenuse? It's directly opposite the right angle. So this would be B, A, B, C. So you notice B is directly opposite angle B, C is directly opposite the right angle, and A is directly opposite angle A. Now, they want to know the value of X. How did we get to 12 meters? Again, we're going to substitute what we do have into the equation. So we know A squared plus B squared is equal to C squared. So we have 5 meters is equal to A, X meters is equal to B, and 13 meters is equal to C. So you get 5 squared plus X squared is equal to 13. And we're going to calculate the equation to solve for the missing side. Now what we want to do is we want to get X squared all by itself. So we're gonna get our squares. So it's 25 because in Byte of Math, alright, when solving equations like this, you always want to follow Byte of Math. You work out what's in brackets first, then you do your orders, right, which is like the square root and powers. Then you do division, then you do multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So we have our powers. We're going to work out our powers first. So we get 25, we get 169. Of course, we're using a calculator for this. Now that we have figures that we could work with, we have 25 plus X squared is equal to 169. We want X by itself. So we bring in 25 across here. It's positive here, so it's going to be negative here. That's how we get 169 minus 25. X squared is equal to 169 minus 25. So we get X squared is equal to 144. And remember, this is X squared. We want it to be X. So we have to find a square root, right? So 12 meters is equal to X. And that's how we got 12 meters on this side. Okay, so again, you could pause at this point and you can go back through and see what you missed. Now, here we have a compound triangle, right? We have a compound triangle. In the compound triangle, we want to label the two triangles to differentiate them. So we have triangle A and we have triangle B. We're going to solve for X and then solve for Y. We're solving for X first because we need to know the value of X to find the value of Y. Alright? So I choose to put A here because when I separate my two triangles, here would be A, right? Which would directly opposite this, right? B, and of course, this point here would be C, which is my right angle. So I have the values for C and I have the values for B. I'm just going to plug in values. So X squared here plus 10 squared A plus B is equal to 26 squared. So we work out our orders first, which is the square. So we have that X squared plus 100 is equal to 676. Of course, we want to bring 100 here, and because it's plus, it's going to become negative 100, right? And we get that here. So you get X squared is equal to 676 minus 100. Now remember, we want X, right? So of course, we have to find the square root of X squared, and you get 24. So X is equal to 24 centimeters. Now, again, we want to find the value of Y. So we have X is equal to 24. So we're going to be 24 squared plus 20 squared is going to give us C. That's where we have this here. So we have 576 because we know this from this value. And we just plug it in here. 576, we work this out on our calculator, it's 400, is equal to C squared. We have C squared is equal to 976. Of course, we want to know the value of C. So it's the square root of 976, which is 31.24. When you are given a decimal, always try to put it to 2 decimal points. Right? So Y is equal to 31.24 centimeters. Alright. So you want to pause here again. Anybody have any questions at this point in time? Everybody understanding? Okay then, let's go on. Now we're going to take a look at trigonometric ratios. So with trigonometric ratios, you're going to have, again, this is used for right angle triangles. It's used to calculate the unknown angle or an unknown side. And how we label our triangle is a bit different. How we label it is that the angle here in question is at this vertex B. So we can say this is the angle B. The side that is opposite to this is labeled as OPP or opposite, and that's this side. The side that is right next to it, right, is labeled as adjacent, and that's this side. And of course, we have our hypotenuse, which is always opposite our right angle of 90 degrees. So, we have sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And tangent theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. How do we remember this? We use the acronym SO, CA, TOA. So, sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. CA, cosine theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And TOA, tangent is equal to opposite over adjacent. Let me slow that back and let me go through it again another time. To be able to remember these formulas, all right, we're going to use these acronyms. So, ka, toa. So, S means sine theta is equal to opposite side of the angle divided by the hypotenuse, the length of the hypotenuse of the angle. Ka, cosine theta is equal to the length of the adjacent side of the angle divided by the length of the hypotenuse of the triangle. Toa is tangent theta, alright, is equal to the length of the opposite side of the angle divided by the length of the adjacent side of the angle. Now, what is sine and cosine? At this point in time, I would like you to take a look at your calculator. You're supposed to have a scientific calculator. And on your calculator, you are going to see some figures, some numbers, some additional buttons. Sorry. It's usually right above your number pad on your calculator, and you're gonna see SIN, all right? And they're usually right next to each other. So you're looking for these buttons, all right? So you're looking for a button that says SIN, and then directly above it, most likely in a gray color, you would see SIN minus 1, right? And next to that, either to the left or the right, you will see another button that says COS, and another button that says TAN. And above it, you are going to see COS minus 1, TAN minus 1. Now, note that this means that this is inversed. And to access this, some calculators allow you to either press down the button, or you would notice probably you want to look at where you have probably if you're okay. So let me just draw like a calculator. Let me just see if I can do a quick sketch here. So if this is your calculator here, according to what type of calculator, you may have a button here, and this could be second function. So you could have it either next to your power button, or some calculators have it that second function is here and power button is here. Right? And well, down here is your irregular buttons, you know? Right? Well, I know my sketch real horrible, right? So we'll vex with me. So you usually find cos, sine, cos, tan somewhere around this area here. This sine minus 1, cos minus 1, tan minus 1 is the inverse. And you'll see where that comes in handy. So I want you to just pause for a bit and look on your calculator and let me know if you're able to find those values. You could go ahead and type it in the chat. Okay, great. Great, perfect. Right, so when we're gonna go to the next slide. I'm gonna leave this up. I'm gonna go to the next slide, and when I go to the next slide, you're gonna see it. So, before we go to the next slide, these rules are used for right angle triangles only. They're used when you're given one angle and you have to calculate the side, or you're given the side, all sides, and you have to calculate an angle. The side that is directly opposite to the given angle, again, is labeled to the opposite. The side that is directly next to the angle is labeled as adjacent. And the side that is opposite the 90-degree angle, which is the right angle, is called the hypotenuse. Okay, are you good with this? Alright. So guys, we have an example here. I'm gonna walk you through this. Alright, we have an example and I'm gonna walk you through it. We are given 4 centimeters, 5 centimeters. And we want to know which trigonometric ratio we're going to use. We look at the angle to label it. So the first thing we want to do is label the triangle. So the angle is here. That means this side is our opposite side and this side is our hypotenuse, of course, because it's directly opposite the right angle. This side is our adjacent. So now let's look at so ka SOA. Well, remember, SOA means sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Ka is equal to cosine theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. The value that we have is for the opposite and the hypotenuse. So this is the one that we're going to be using. And I rewrote it here. So you have sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. So we just chose our trigonometric ratio that we will be using. Next, we want to substitute our value. So opposite is equal to 4 centimeters. We put that there. Hypotenuse is equal to 5 centimeters. We put this here. And we have sine theta. Now remember our calculator from last time. We're going to divide 4 by 5. We're going to divide the 4. We're going to perform this as a division. We'll get 0.8. Now what's something? Sine theta. We don't know what theta is, which is the Greek letter for angle. We have sine multiply. So this sine theta is sine multiplied by theta is equal to 0.8. We want to know what this is. So when we bring this across here, right, it's going to become the inverse. Right? We have to invert it. And when we invert it, we get sine minus 1 theta. Now I'm going to draw back again. This is usually how it looks. Sine cos and remember I showed you just now, you want to look for second function in your calculator. It's usually denoted by the letters SF. Right, so it can be either on this side, right next to the power button, or the power button could be here, and it could be here. So you're looking for second function, and how you're calculating this, you're going to have second function, and on screen you're going to supposed to see sine minus 1 and then open bracket. You're going to put 0.8 there and close bracket. And that is what you're supposed to do, and you will get this answer. So do that for me and let me know if you're getting that answer. I'm going to give you a minute or two to do it. Alright. Great. Good job. Good job. So, when we have to calculate the angle, you're going to invert sign and you're going to use second function. Something I forgot to add in, make sure that on top of the screen here, your calculator is saying DEG. Because angles can be calculated with radians, or degrees. You want it to be in degrees. Alright? Now x would be, again, this answer here. So calculate sine inverse of x. And x is your answer from step 4. Substituted into the brackets here. So you want to pause here when you're reviewing this video. You want to pause here. And you want to make sure that you're getting these answers. Alright? Alright. Let me move on. We have our next example. Now, this example was showing you what to do to find the angle when two sides are known. Now, we want to know what to do to find it when we don't know the side, one of the side, but we know what the angle is. So again, we're going to label with triangle. When we label with triangle, right? When we label with triangle, this is what we're going to get. Sorry, guys. We label it based on where the angle is. So the side that is known is the opposite side, and the side that is unknown is the hypotenuse. So you're going through car. We're going to choose the right trigonometric ratio to R. Sine theta is equal to, what I put on here, guys? Sine theta is equal to opposite over hypotenuse. Cosine theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse. And tan theta is equal to opposite over adjacent. This is the one we're going for. And I will write it here. We're going to substitute our values. Alright. Just give me a minute, please. Okay, thanks. So, we're going to substitute our values. We know that theta is 30 degrees. So, we put in 30 degrees here. We know that opposite is 4 centimeters, but we don't know hypotenuse, so it's x. Now, notice x is the denominator, and we have it in a fraction. We want to remove this from a fraction. Now, again, make sure that your calculator is on degrees and it's not on radians or gradients. Right, so after we substitute, my pen just doing what it wants. Alright, I'm going to use a pointer. Right. So after we substitute, which what we did here, the 30 degrees comes here, the 4 centimeters comes here, and x comes here. Make sure your calculator is on degrees. Now, what you want to do is you want to cross multiply. Or, if you want, you don't have to, but I think for me, for simplicity's sake, if I was learning this the first time, I would work out what sine theta is first. So that's why I put in this step here. Of course, you could always cross multiply with sine theta as is. So for this step, you want to use sine. Now remember those buttons I showed earlier in the last slide. Alright? Sine, cos, and tan. You don't want to go into second function for this. Right? Second function is for if you don't know the angle, and second function, when you press second function, you'll get sine inverse 1, cos inverse 1, and tan inverse 1. You don't want these, right? You're just going to click sine just so. Now on your calculator, oh yeah, it must be smaller, sorry about that. On your calculator, when you put sine, you're going to get sine, open bracket. You want to put in 30 degrees. When you put in your 30, you will get the equal, press your equal sign. You're supposed to get 0.5. So pause, right? Let me pause for a bit and do that on time by putting that on 0.5. Everybody get 0.5? Alright. So that's how we get a 0.5 here. Now, to remove the fraction, you want to put your answer, going back to the pointer, the laser, because to remove the fraction, you want to put your answer from step 5 as a fraction and cross multiply. So 0.5 going over 1 and we cross multiply. So you're going to get 1 by 4 is 4. 0.5 by x is 0.5x. Now people, we want x by itself because we want to know the value of x. So we're going to bring this 0.5 across here. Now you don't know. Whatever you do on the left side, you have to do the opposite on the right side. So 0.5 multiplied by x. When you bring it across here, it had to be 4 divided by 0.5. You're going to get 8. Right? So what you can do, you can pause the thing. When you get the video, you pause it at this point here again. And when you pause it, just review. Make sure, work through the calculations for yourself and see if you're getting the 8. Alright? Alright, we're moving on. Just give me 1 minute, please. 1 minute. I'll be right back. And we're back. So, we have something called the sine rule and the cosine rule. Right? Sine and cosine. Now, in terms of sine and cosine, we don't have a right angle triangle. We're dealing with any kind of triangle here. So you want to label your vertices A, B, and C. And they can give you theta for one angle. I want you to find your missing side. They can give you the sides. I want you to find the angle. So when A is theta, remember A would be the length of the side opposite angle A. C would be the length of the side opposite angle C. And B would be the length of the side opposite angle B. So if the angle is here, this would be B, this would be A and C. So ABC. If the angle is here, this would still be C. It doesn't matter how you label it. Your labeling is dependent on your angle. that you are working with. Now the sine rule, it goes like this. A, which is the length of side opposite angle A, over sine A is the same as B, the length of the side, over sine B, which is the same as C, the length of the side, over sine C. So it's the length of one side divided by the sine of the angle opposite that side. So we go and do some practice. Now, I don't have, you see how I was able to structure it for you all in terms of the SOHCAHTOA? Because we deal with different types of triangles and different kind of situations, all kind of things can pop up. So we have to look at this one and we have to solve it logically. We have to work with logic here, right? Sorry about that, guys. If you hear me quarreling with my dogs, it's because my female dog looking to jump through the window. She feels she's a gymnast, right? She likes to do acrobatics, right? I have 4 dogs living at home in my home with me. They are well trained. They are like children. And therefore, whenever I am given anything else that is not their attention, my attention that isn't to them, they tend to become very distracted. So just, you might hear me tell them to stay quiet or to sit. That is just the norm as it stands right now. Right? Alright, so I'm really thankful for your understanding and for your patience. Alright, so we want to write down the sine rule again. Which is A over sine. Okay, my PowerPoint just going where you want to go. To B over. Now, what we want to do, we always want to label with triangle. We were given 2 angles, missing one side. So, if we go A, B, C for vertices, it therefore means that this side will be A because it's directly opposite. Alright? This side would be B, and this side would be C. Now, I'm going to do this a little different. So we can say it would just alright. A, B, C. Now, the reason why I label it over, right? Because when this angle is A, this side is A. When this angle is B, this side is B. And of course, this side could be C. And I don't really want to work with 3 figures like this because we were only given 2. So let me work with those 2. Right? Let me work with those 2. So you're going to start substituting now. A is equal to x sine theta or sine A. So it's going to be sine 60 degrees. And B is equal to 8 sine 40 degrees. So you know what we're going to do here now? We have a fraction. So we're going to cross multiply. But before we cross multiply, we want to work out what is the value of these. So take your calculator. Right? And remember, you're looking for these buttons. Fine. And you're gonna put sine 60. I just draw into calculators so that you can see how you're supposed to write it. So when I press sine, open bracket supposed to come up and sine 40. So do that now. Alright. So you're supposed to get for sine 60 0.866602540 You want to put the two decimal points, so 0.86, right? And then sine 40, you will get 0.642787609, blah, blah, blah. Put the two decimal points, so you get 0.64. Again, you cross multiply it. So you get 0.64x is equal to 0.86 by 8. Right? So we want to calculate that. 0.86 by 8 will give you 6.88. Now what's something? So what we're going to do here? We're going to take this because we have x by itself. And we're going to bring it across here. But because this multiplied by x, when we bring it across here, we have to divide by 0.64. Right? So you get x is equal to 6.88 divided by 0.64. Right? So what our answer would be? .75 centimeters. Right? Now remember, this could be a decimal point, right? Everybody got his answer? Type it down in the chat. Alright, good, good, good. Let's do our next one. Alright? Let's do our next one. This time, we're given a side and an angle. We don't know the next side, we don't know the next angle. So let me see what we're working with. Right? So, let me label it now. So we want here to be A. Alright? We want here to be B. And we want here to be C. So that means this would be A, this would be B, and this would be C. We're going to substitute. So A is 9.2 over 120. Hold on. I think we're missing something. Let me make sure that I put in the correct thing. Just gonna pause the recording here, right? And don't worry, I'll put everything together in one folder. So, and we're back. Sorry about that, guys. So, I left out See, all the missus make mistakes too, eh? I left out the size at the side. Alright? Alright. So I got 6 centimeters over sine theta. Alright? Alright. So we don't know what sine theta is. We're looking for this angle here. What we're gonna do, we're going to cross multiply again. So I got 9.2 multiply by sine theta. Alright, that better. Is equal to 6 multiplied by 120. So take out your calculators. 6 by 120 is 720. Now what's something again, right, folks? We want this by itself. So we're gonna take this. Are we gonna bring it across here? But because it's multiplied here, when we bring it across, we have to divide here. So I get sine theta is equal to 720. Alright? So your answer going to be 720 divided by 9.2. You're supposed to get 78.2606869. You want to put out the 2 decimal points. So you get 78.26 sine theta. Now what's your next piece here again? I'm doing it real slow for you. This sine theta here, right? So this sine theta here is the same as saying sine multiplied by theta, right? What we want to know is the value of theta. So we're going to take sine, and again we're going to bring it across here. Remember, when you bring sine over to the other equal side, it's going to become the inverse of sine. Multiply by 78.26. So that's how we know what theta is. Now let me go to the calculators. Right, to follow. Where am I looking, one day? Way down. Just so they. Guys, I think my computer conspiring against me earlier. I really think my calculator conspiring, my computer is conspiring against me. So 6 centimeters, 6 over sine theta. First multiply. So you get 9.2 by sine theta is equal to 6 by 120, right? I just said that was 720. And I take this here, bring this across here. So I get 9.2. Sine theta is equal to, right? So sine multiplied by theta is 720 divided by 9.2. So you bring it to two decimal points, 78.26, right? Of course, you want theta by itself, so you take sine, you're bringing it across here. So you get sine inverse 78.26, and get theta. It was going on with calculator. My computer decided to give trouble. So, somewhere here, you're supposed to have sine minus 1. You want to hit the second function. I'm going to have, so you press second function, then you press sine. And on your screen, it's supposed to be this. And when this opens up, you put in 78.26. Right? So remember, you hit the second function first, then press on sine to get this. On your calculator screen, you're supposed to see sine inverse, open bracket, you will get 78.26, and then press equal. Once all you get tama, write it in the chat. Write it in the chat, people. Ah, very good. Yes, the answer for this is 30, supposed to be 31.4 degrees. Hold on, let me make sure my calculation is correct. I get 9.2. Hold on. 7, 2, 6, 7. I know. I want to use this opportunity. I'm not going on. I want to use this opportunity to show you something. Always make sure I work through your weekend step by step so you can find your errors. Now, I am prone to making errors just like you. I worked through this before and I knew the answer is supposed to be around 31.4 around there, so look through it mentally. And I made a very critical mistake at the beginning. The mistake is this. This is supposed to be sine 120. So it's supposed to come here and be sine 120 to be able to get this response. So, the lesson that I wanted to take away from my mistake is this. When you follow your step-by-step working properly, even if you make a mistake and you reach this point and you're going through your work in the exam, you can be able to identify mistakes and correct it. Right? Alright, so let me correct my mistakes. Right? Let me correct my mistake. Also, our next lesson, I want to let you learn. Your teacher, whoever they may be, could be me, could be somebody else, will make mistakes. We are not perfect. We make mistakes because we are human beings. We don't know everything. Sometimes it's simple mistakes like this. And making mistakes is okay. Just make sure to review your work, check yourself, take responsibility, and move on. So it's supposed to be 6 multiplied by sine 120. Alright? And now, when you have that, so 6 multiplied by sine 120, you could say 6. So 9.2 multiplied by, so sine 120 is equal to 0.866. We'll take this to 3 decimal points. 6 multiplied by 0.866 is going to give you 5.196. Now we are going to take our 9.2 and we are going to substitute it here. And it's going to become 5.196 divided by 9.2. And this is sine theta. So your answer would be 0.564. Now remember, this is sine multiplied by theta. We want to know the value of theta. So we're going to take our sine and we're going to bring it here. When we bring it here, remember we're going to inverse it. These steps didn't change because of this one mistake. So you're going to get sine, write that better. Guys, I promise that is right much better than this in person, huh? I really promise that is right better than this in person. 0.564. So theta is going to be 34.33 degrees. What trouble is this? Guys, you guys will pause the video. Yeah, we'll pause the video and just take back down the notes, right? I'm not even sure what it is I clicked to get rid of everything on the board like that. Right? I'm not even sure, but what you can do is that you can pause the video at this point, go back through it, take down the notes, review it. But we know it's 34.33. Alright, so we have the cosine rule. This is used when two angles and any given side are given. So we have this formula. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos A. Again, A is the length of the side opposite angle A, C is the length of the side opposite angle C, and B is the length of the side opposite angle B. Let's go with this example. And you guys will do this on your own phone. You can always message me, right? And let me know what you got and if you need help with it. So you're going to take back our formula. A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. At this point in time, we want to label it. This is our angle. So let's label this as A. So this side will be A. Let's label this as B. This side will be B. Let's label this as C. So this side will be C. So we have x is equal to 8 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 by 8 by 6 by cos 100. Alright, now of course you could put this figure into your calculator. I will break it down for you, so I will show it. So it's 8 squared plus 6 squared minus 2 by 8 by 6 cos 100. Right? And if you notice that you did this, you would get this answer. Now, there's a reason I'm going through this with you. This is when you just plug in all these values into your calculator. Here's how I want you to do it. You take it bit by bit. Right? So we have 8 squared plus 6 squared, 100. You have 2 multiplied by 8, multiplied by 6, 96. And then of course you have cos 100, which is 0.173. Alright? Remember BODMAS. Always remember BODMAS. Brackets, orders, which is why we did our powers first, division, multiplication, addition, and subtraction. So we're going to use our multiplication first. X is equal to 100 minus, so 96 multiplied by 0.173, 16.608, to get 83.392. Right? So let's make sure that we're doing the correct thing. So you have a squared, right? A squared is equal to b squared plus c squared. Alright? So when we broke it down, we did our powers first, which is our orders. We got 100. Next, we did our multiplication. So that was 96. And then, of course, cos 100. We get 83. Now remember, this is x squared. This isn't x. X is equal to 83.392. So your answer would be 9.13 centimeters. Watch it again. When I got to this point, I reviewed my steps. You always, when you have a multifunction, multi-operational equation like this, you follow Byte Math. Now, if we had done 116, so the square root of 116 would give us, right, x is equal to 116.07. We will get 10.77. See the difference in the answer, alright? You want to make sure and work out your orders first, right? So you have 8 squared plus 6 squared will give you 100. 2 multiplied by 8 multiplied by 6 is 96. And then you have plus 100, right? I would always say to take this route here rather than just plugging in the values into the calculator, because sometimes you do make mistakes. And if you break it down, or if you want to plug in the values, you can put in the bracket. But I will always say, take this route here, right? And that's it. This is our answer here. I just did this to show you what you would get if you plugged in all the values into the calculator. But in a complex equation like this, you want to follow Byte Math and do this. Right? Alright, so that brings us to the end of our class. Today we looked at Pythagoras theorem, right? The 2 examples. We did trigonometric ratios. We learned how to use our calculator, right? We did our sine rule, our cosine rule. Now a little bit more about me. My name is Leslie Joseph. I'm 28 years old. My hobbies include software, coding, drawing. I love teaching. I'm currently a final year nursing student with Costa because of the pandemic and for financial reasons. I had was to stop my degree. I've completed all my courses. I just have practical hours to complete and 2 practical exams to graduate. And then to practice nursing, I have a licensing exams that I need to write. Right? So that's all I'm missing to be a registered nurse. But it was through the pandemic and through teaching I discovered my love and how much more fulfillment I get from this. I truly believe with each student, whether you're an adult or you're a child or a teenager, we struggle with certain things because we don't believe in ourselves. And if you believe you have a genius inside of you, you believe you are a genius, and you act accordingly, you're going to see it happen. You're going to actually be the genius that you think you are. If you think that you're stupid, you're going to act stupid. So you get to decide who you are by who you believe you are. And that's something I want to pass on to my students, which is why the slogan for Azalea Academy of Higher Learning, right? slogan is awaken your inner genius today. Alright, now I could go through the mission and vision with you guys. However, we don't have enough time because of the complications that occurred during class. If you would like to know more about me, very soon I am going to be launching a series about how the school came about, why did I choose to start the school. The YouTube channel is going to get more active. The Facebook page is going to get more active. So for more content, and if you want to really, really invest in how to awaken your inner genius, give me a contact. Alright, again, I am available at WhatsApp 4728049. And if you contact me today, well, you contact me within the next 7 days. So you have 7 days to contact me. You will get 15% discount on one-on-one personal tutoring. Alright? We will not be moving at this space. I moved at this space because the video is being recorded. You can, of course, go back to it. You can pause it. You can look at it. One-on-one tutoring is where I would perform a learning needs assessment, see where you're at, what your learning styles is, and I help prepare you as best as possible for exam. We also do stress management. I do stress management coaching and exam anxiety coaching, and through that you'll be able to get from me tools that you can use during exams, before your exams, after exams, to be able to manage your anxiety, manage your stress, manage your time, not in terms of studying, managing your time within the exams. Alright, again, it's $100 usually, but if you contact me within the next 7 days, so this workshop is today, which is Saturday. Alright, this workshop is Saturday, the 29th of March, right? Alright, hold on, don't quote me on that. Yes, so it's Saturday, 29th of March. If you contact me by Friday, 5th of March, you get 15% off. Now guys, we just come off from doing math, so anybody could comment down below how much 15% off is. Nobody got to me how much 15% off is for $100. $15% of $100 is $15. So you would get $85 per hour for your tutoring. Right? So if you contact me by the 5th of May, alright? Alright, contact me by the 5th of May. Instead of paying $100, you'll get $85. Right? And of course, feel free, if you enjoy this class, to recommend me to your friends, to your colleagues. You can share this video with them so that they can see how I teach, what my style is. Again, like I said, I am doing exam stress management and time management techniques during the exam. So how to manage your time during your exam, how to go back and review with all those test taking skills that you need to succeed in your exams. Contact me, we'll work something out. But contact me before the 5th of May. Right? After that, price goes back up to $100. I want to say thank you all for being here today. It was quite a pleasure teaching you all, and I'm going to have that video to you by Monday or Tuesday for the latest. Thank you all. Have a good day.